So last session, I spent a lot of time talking about our unstable, escalating rental market here in Washington. Drastic increases in our housing costs are hurting many of our neighbors, including some of the most vulnerable people in our state. Over the summer, I asked you to share your stories about the challenges you're facing due to escalating rental costs. So I heard a story from Ernestine, who was forced to move from the home she'd lived in for the last 19 years, when her rent increased from $1,130 in 2019 to $2,200. She'd experienced additional fees and charges that were never included in the original lease agreement. And all of this happened when a new owner took over the property that she had been living in. Similarly, we heard from James in Spokane, who is now looking for a new home when his landlord told him that his residence was going to be sold. He can't find a place for his family to live that isn't going to take up more than half of the money he makes every month. Heather is working full-time. She's holding down 2 jobs, and she's at risk of being priced out of her home even still if her rent takes another jump like it did last year. These are just a few of the stories we've heard from people across the state as we've tried to figure out what we do to stabilize rent in Washington. We know that for every $100 that rent goes up on average in an area, we see an increase in homelessness by about 9% in that same area. We've seen it time and time again. It is so much more cost effective for us to keep people housed than it is to try and get them out of homelessness once they've fallen into that trap. It is far more cost efficient to keep people housed than it is to try and help them recover from experiencing homelessness. So I'm going to be working with my colleagues this session to make sure we pass rent stabilization because our fellow Washingtonians need help now. Please stay tuned for future developments and ways that you can get involved.